Cleanup continues from at least 4 tornadoes that touched down across 3 counties. National Weather Service says those tornadoes hit in Adams, Arapahoe, and Elbert counties, all between 1 and 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says more than a dozen buildings, including 6 houses, were damaged there. In Elbert County, 19 buildings were damaged. A lot of that happened in the Elkhorn neighborhood, where today neighbors were out helping one another. It's now up to National Weather Service surveyors to determine how many tornadoes actually touched down in Colorado on Sunday and how strong they each were.
And we're also waiting to learn more about how much all this damage will cost. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch joins us now. And Janelle, as we enter severe weather season, unfortunately, we're probably going to see this happen again.
Kim, Kyle, living in Colorado sometimes means living at the will of Mother Nature. But there are ways to prepare for the inevitable storms because we know they'll pop up and there's science to prove that. Tornadoes can be big and damaging, but weather experts say the real danger is much smaller.
Hail does far more damage than tornadoes do in the same area.
Paul Schlatter is a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. He says tornadoes on the eastern plains are common, so much so they've named the area.
And this is the Denver convergence vorticity zone. When you have converging air and it's unstable, which means there's enough moisture and enough lift in the atmosphere to get things going, that's when you can get tornadoes, and they'll typically form right along that boundary.
According to the Colorado Climate Center, the DCVZ has also experienced rapid growth since the mid-90s, despite the risks. In the calm before the guaranteed storms, insurance agents say homeowners can prepare their properties.
We all need to invest in making our homes just safer, more weather resistant, not weatherproof, but more survivable.
Carol Walker is the executive director of the Rocky Mountain Insurance Association. She says given the growth out east, new and current homeowners may want to consider weather protection.
To spend a little bit more money and invest in a fortified impact, hail-resistant, wind-resistant roof, that's what we really need to do at scale in Colorado. That's what's going to make the big difference in all of us, whether you have a claim or not, spending less on insurance.
But Walker says security shouldn't be skipped on.
So you have to look at, am I saving in the short term or am I saving in the long term?
Especially in areas where Colorado is known for its severe weather.
If you move to an area east of I-25, anywhere in eastern Colorado, you should be aware of your risks of tornadoes.
Walker says there is no standard fortified wind-resistant roof in Colorado. So this means contractors can opt for cheaper roofs to bring down costs. But again, what you save on the front end may cost you more in the end. Live in Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Yeah, tornadoes, hail, you name it, it's coming.
I mean, it was a really, really intense afternoon, Kathy. I mean, I guess we're fairly early in the season, but squarely inside of it now.
Absolutely. We've got weeks to go. And yesterday, a clearly defined dry line where you have dry air colliding with that warm, moist air that created that line of severe thunderstorms. And we didn't see that today. Thankfully, we have a calmer and cooler day and evening, and temperatures have come down into the 50s. And it's interesting now because we're going to be talking about frost and frost advisories for some areas tonight with clearing skies that will go into the 30s. The wind was a big feature, especially in northeastern Colorado, wrapping around this low pressure center. As it begins to migrate off to the east, the severe weather threat goes with it, but they're dealing with large hail, baseball-sized hail, tornadoes, and heavy flooding rain from Oklahoma City all the way up to Minneapolis tonight. Our diminishing showers covering northeastern Colorado. The track kind of from the northwest to the east and southeast, but drier air now working in. We'll be talking about maybe a couple of mountain flurries tomorrow, but all advisories for snow and travel have canceled out. Severe weather threat low today, tonight, and tomorrow. And we're in for a nice warm up tomorrow afternoon. This week we're headed for the 80s, but we also want to talk about the holiday weekend coming up because there's another round of storms on the horizon. The timing and impact just ahead.
NOAA's been tracking tornadoes in our state for decades, and here's an interactive map showing 75 years worth, indicating where tornadoes touch down, where they cause the most damage. Darker dots there are the more powerful tornadoes. According to NOAA, more than 2,400 tornadoes have hit Colorado. Nearly 300 people have been hurt. 5 people have died. The estimated property damage is nearing $300 million. As the cleanup continues from the latest tornadoes, Elbert County is looking for help that the Trump administration is trying to make it harder to get for local governments. Spokesperson for Elbert County said commissioners have declared that area a disaster to help open up funding. Federal funding has become more of a challenge under the new administration. The Colorado Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management says the administration's proposed policy changes would make it 4 times harder to get federal assistance for disaster recovery. Trump administration already denied a request out of Arkansas from Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders that state was hit by deadly storms in March. The president signed an executive order aiming to shift the burden of disaster response and recovery from the federal government to the states.
President Trump is going to Capitol Hill tomorrow to meet with House Republicans to push for the Republican budget bill. Speaker Mike Johnson and other leaders are still working behind closed doors, trying to resolve major internal battles over the legislation. They include the time frame over when new Medicaid work requirements would kick in, whether the change to federal state cost sharing program for Medicaid, when green energy tax credits would be phased out, and how much Americans can deduct from the state and local taxes they pay. The House Rules Committee will meet late tomorrow night for a key vote whether to advance that package to the full House. Leaders at food bank Broomfield Fish are bracing for the possible federal cuts to public assistance programs that would drive up the need in their community. Broomfield Fish says they already have a deficit, meaning they distribute more food each month than they receive in donations. Republicans are trying to pass a bill in Congress that would reduce SNAP benefits by roughly $300 billion over the next 10 years. That same bill would also make cuts to Medicaid. Executive Director Dana Scott says the impact would mean families would have to make the decision between eating their next meal or other things in life, like taking their children to the doctor or paying rent.
I think you have to look at the big picture, and you have to understand that folks are already doing magical things with very limited funds, and any dollar you cut is going to impact them quite significantly.
Last year, Broomfield Fish Fellowship in Serving Humanity served 15,000 people. Half of those were children.
In Weld County, a state agency says it'll likely take 5 years to fully clean up the Chevron well blowout that happened in Gailton last month. For 5 days, that well was spewing water, natural gas, and oil into the air. People nearby had to be evacuated. Since sealing off the well, Chevron has disposed of more than 7,000 cubic yards of soil that was contaminated and thousands of barrels of liquid that was recovered. The Energy and Carbon Management Commission will oversee the cleanup with a target date to finish in April 2030.
Aurora is sending one smart kid to spell on the biggest stage. A 12-year-old boy is headed for the 100th annual Scripps National Spelling Bee.
As 9 News reporter Rachel Krauss shows us, this is a thing that they do as a family.
The word is acacia.
ACACIA.
Most siblings grow up sharing the same activities.
He started playing basketball and I started playing basketball.
Brothers Vedant and Vikram Raju shared the sport
Your word is egrotat.
of spelling.
Apistogramma.
APISTOGRAMMA.
Astilbe.
ASTILBE.
They know a few by heart.
I don't know, like thousands.
In this house, Merriam-Webster is gospel.
It's the Bible of spelling for sure. Any spelling question you want, you go to the dictionary. Affiche.
AFFICHE.
That's correct.
Their short quiz, nothing compared to next week.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous because it's a big event.
Vedant will spell on the biggest stage, a challenge familiar to their family.
Yeah, I was in fact the runner-up of the 2022 Scripps National Spelling Bee, and like a good older brother, now I'm just passing down the fruits of my knowledge to my younger brother here. So hopefully he can meet or outdo my expectations. No pressure, of course.
Can you tell? Yeah, we're very proud.
Mom Sandia says her boys are just bright.
We want to think we're good and they got the genes, but there's a lot more into it than just that. Yeah.
Well,
yes, Dad is a good speller, on record.
when they fly out next week for the Big B, Sandia is ready for next level stress.
It's really stressful. So I'm thinking maybe I should take some secret stash of wine and some Xanax. Other spellers, moms, they can DM me if they want some.
Becoming a spell-lebrity isn't easy.
You think you can do this?
Can you spell Ardipithecus?
Ardipithecus. We actually...
A-R-T. Ardipithecus.
ARDIPITHECUS.
That is correct.
you have to put in a lot of hours and memorize a lot of things, but also learn like language patterns and roots.
After months of studying, Vade is ready for a once-in-a-lifetime moment happening twice for their family.
He's a beast. He's a juggernaut within the spelling world now, so he's going to do well.
Vedant is one of 2 kids from Colorado headed to D.C. for the National Spelling Bee. He'll be joined by Blanche Lee from the Boulder Valley School District. And you guys, Vedant did such a good job spelling that I thought maybe we'd see if you guys can handle some of the words they'll have to be quizzed on. What do you think?
He's a beast. We're not
I
beasts.
can spell beast. That's
mere
one
mortals.
word I could spell, and that's about it.
But that's okay. You know, we got to see if we can compete with these kids, right?
All right, get after it.
All right. The word is amphistyler.
No.
You want another one?
No. Say it again.
Amphistyler.
That's hard. Okay.
No.
AM.
Adjective, having columns
Is it
on both
AM or
sides.
AT? AM?
Having columns.
Amphistyler.
AM. I can
guys
write
got this.
styler. I write, oh, that's an AMA.
I thought this was one.
AMPHISTILER.
One more time.
AMPHISTILER.
Almost.
That
Almost.
one looks good.
Almost. You're missing a Y.
Okay.
I wrote styler like if I'm going to style something.
You know, that's not
That
close.
did not
but
work.
I appreciate the effort. I think you
Okay.
both did a lovely job.
I
And
can't
think
spell out loud either.
that's okay. That's why Vedant is going to D.C., right?
Best
Yeah.
to him. He's a beast. We're not.
Yeah, and he's got a great big brother. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's great.